All right, Las Vegas. Amari Nicholson. Sad, heartbroken, hurts my feelings. Feelings aren't a part of a case, but the area, I did a Google search, and then I did an area mapping in feet and half miles. So it was 3,000 square foot square from the tentative apartment, which I know now is a number, to, according to where they brought the body out from yesterday, it was 300 square feet away. So latitude, longitude from McDonald's, I did a measurement from McDonald's, it was 800 feet away. Grid searching. And in an apartment searching, it should be the following: 4 or more cops or service personnel or the maintenance personnel, because there are a bunch of things that everybody needs to know about an apartment. There's a washing machine and dryer set up somewhere, room, there are utility closets, there are electrical panels, all these lights that run off, all of the things are somewhere. Janitor closets or maintenance closets, sometimes they're locked, sometimes they're not. Washing machine and dryers. A awesome search team in an apartment style format. Knock and pops. Open your window. Like, they don't have to go in those kind of apartments, but you can open up your windows and they can flash their flashlight, right? Move on. Next. Then they go into maintenance. Where are all your hubby cubbies? Like your utility, where all the boxes are. The TV service box is usually like the little wall. Plumber's closet. All the little boxy woxies. Trash cans, yes. Storage areas, maintenance lockers, or maintenance heaters, vents, doors, easy pay, easy ways. I don't know, like they use them, like especially in commercial residents. How they didn't find that kid in 48 hours or 72 hours, plus the people that were walking and searching. I would have jumped on a wall. This is me, because I did CSI recovery stuff all the time. How you don't get up on a wall, or according to that one wall where they found him, they had drones. They have drones at their disposal. Fly a drone, hover around areas where maybe not be people friendly or able to. A drone probably would have found that kid, guaranteed. I'm pretty sure he wasn't really buried. Might have been a rain trivet, like, because it was gravel. You could have put him in the trivet and put rocks over him. But 7 days sounds a little long lasting for me. It's really that part's bothering me. That the distance was 300 square feet. Not much. From the distance of the apartment where they stayed to the distance of the apartment that was right here. And there was a McDonald's and a dentist and all of the things right there. And they all the parking lots kind of intermix with little short walk, short block wall, because they're easements and they're no accesses and all, no access and no accesses. What do they call them? Like permission pathways. But I'll be living in Vegas. I'm going to go take that trick, and I'm going to go walk that area as if I don't know where that kid is, and would have led me, like when they said, oh, we're going to go grid. Either people don't know what they're looking for when they're looking for a possible. Kids like to hide. True that, okay? But why did it take 7 days for the cops? They've been driving around looking for a walking kid, right? This kid was taken. I knew that was a crock of shit. I would have been looking in the wash. I would have been looking behind dumpsters. You know how, like, you have a dumpster that goes, here's the dumpsters, they're sitting in here, and there's things behind it, and there's things behind it, and it's behind a wall, which is a bush. I would have been behind the bush, looking between the wall, the trash can, and the tree that butts up against the trash can. I found a knife in a bush. What can I tell you? Like, there are certain ways that I was trained that searching is shoulder to shoulder, and you act kind of like a SWAT team. You kind of like, and you make all things feel uncomfortable. They did a crime scene at the apartment. They took stuff out of it, right? So now let's go to the next step. Now from here, let's scan. Let's just walk this whole area. Start this way, go all the way to that wall, and walk back. Search. Under cars, in cars, in the bushes, in the trees. Search. It might have taken all night. It might have taken 24 hours. The right people doing the right job, doing the right thing. That kid would have been popped and flopped. It would have been like, we found him. Now what? Because 32 pounds ain't easy to carry down 3 flights of stairs, if he even did it there. Was he over at that other place? If there's blood in that apartment, probably happened in that apartment. You don't just wipe it off. It stays in the pores of the property. They could paint over it and it's still going to be there. If they replace the drywall, then it's gone, right? I don't know. Have you all watched enough CSI things to figure that out? Or crime cases on TV? They literally they probably went back to that apartment yesterday and cut that drywall out. Guaranteed. They're there today, cutting parts of that apartment apart. Sorry, apartment. But it's building a case against this character and possibly against the characterette that probably went over there and saw her son in the dirt. I bet you. They didn't. I don't know for sure. I won't know much about nothing, but I can probably assure you they weren't following them yet until the day he got arrested. But they had no body, but they had circumstantial evidence to push charges, and he confessed, which led it to the meat of the whole investigation. And they had enough incriminating evidence without the body, but then they're like, now we know this kid is dead, now we gotta find him. And they stayed in that area, the wash behind it, but they didn't do a flat, annoying search. It sounds stupid. I'll be quite honest. When we did searches like this for papers, like, have y'all watched Dog the Bounty Hunter? The trash can tells you a million stories. Where they've gone, where they've shopped, who bought what. Because, like it or not, like you give a person your wallet. You give your person your wallet, right? Or your purse. Give him your purse, right? Those last 4 numbers are on every receipt. So, McDonald's, and you used your debit card, and you get a receipt. You get a receipt. You can trace it. So we found this receipt in your trash. Nancy Grace will tell you this too. We found this receipt in your trash. Why did you buy lemon, Clorox bleach? You know, like, why? Can't deny. Because if you, everything has a trail. Everything has a trail. If you use your debit card, you are trailed. And we throw these away like crazy, right? I can tell you because I have like a bunch. I went to Wiener Schnitzel. Don't judge me. There's my debit card info on the back side right here. Everything, you have a paper trail. They have to give you this one. Or they can give you this one. This one just says you paid for it. And then usually this one's on the bottom. Some sort of different. That's a cute one too. But the trash tells you a billion stories. So if you took this kid out and then he's like, oh, I gotta straighten up or do whatever, and you took his receipts in the trash, because you know that's where they end up, is in the trash, and now a good investigator will pull the trash. And if they've already asked for your driver's license and they've gone one step further and, oh, let me see how many debit cards you got. And when you go, what kind of debit cards do I have? Well, we're just gonna write the last down 4. All right, write down that, because you don't think, if you're not guilty or innocent of all things crazy, or you didn't steal something, well, where's your receipt? Because they're gonna verify it with your card. The last 4. Goodbye, totals, 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 totals. Yeah. My last 4 is 95.95. It's on here too. But Visa tendered 9494. It's right there. So they can pull these out of the trash. This is trash to General Joe. But they can ask you, why did you buy, like I did yesterday? What was the purpose of 4 Dr. Pepper sugar-free Coke, along with sanitary napkins, which is like the Clorox bleach? What was the purpose of that? They can totally bust you on your receipts that you throw in the trash. They can take these, laminate them so the ink doesn't go away, and they can put this into evidence. You bought Clorox wipes. Why? On May 8th. Why? Evidence sat in front of you while you're getting to go. You're like, this takes a minute, but you have somebody on it right away. They're like, go to the trash, go to the trash, go through the trash, go through, find receipts all over their apartment, pick them all up. This is probably what they're missing in Cal City, is where they went and how they got there, because they were probably smart enough to go and throw it away where they're at. Unlike me, they're all over the car. Obviously, I just found 3, but it's just a part of the job description. CSI people out of Las Vegas, and search and rescue people. Like, they tell you not to touch it, but tag it, and usually have like a little stake with a little wind flag on it. That's new. And then the little numbers, but now they have stakes on them, so you can do it in dirt or the top of a bush. And then somebody comes along in the CSI and takes pictures. They have a filmer, they have a camera person now, and then they have a retrieve evidence person, totally different person, and then who located it would have to be on that piece of paper. And then they put it in a bag and they seal it, take it to the lab. But that's 25 years of doing that job, and seeing things as I see things are done now, because I've done it. That, I mean, not that I would be the hero in the in this, but there was a gap of negligence in Las Vegas. And that's how I feel about it. It's my personal opinion. But there was a gap of negligence in collecting or getting 8 cops. One set coming towards you and one set coming, so they're doing this. And squeezing out that area. And then they go down. Okay, we started here. Start this way and you squeeze it out. Why didn't they do that? Once he confessed, why didn't they go back to basics? But that's me. I've been in situations where that has had to happen. And I think they're probably going to look at their operations again and see, like, not that we want anything like a double cat or copycat or any of that stuff, that they will reevaluate their search grid procedures, especially in a big complex. That's like the shooting that happened in Vegas. How fast did they get up to that floor? How fast? Once they figured out where it was coming from, the people calling on the hotel, where was it coming from? And how fast did they get there? I mean, like, it was like quick and easy. And then they went in there with precision and they traced all of his steps, where he stayed, his receipts, his, obviously his wallet was in there. They got to look at his last 4 digits of his debit card or whatever. Looked for receipts, trace back, go back to that footage, check out what he did, what did he buy, what was his body feel. Like, you learn that, but it takes repetitiveness. And if you don't have a repetitive, then maybe you need to go to extra training when it's available. Like, it blows my mind that possibly 7 days went by and this little boy was not far from their home. It wasn't 9 miles. It wasn't 14 miles. It wasn't it was like next door. In a gravel path with a wall and a building. You saw him come out with that stretcher. It wasn't very wide. So it was accessed like by the gas company or the fire marshal, however they built it. They said you needed a breezeway right here, or a pathway right here. This company built the wall because they wanted a wall there because, we didn't want that traffic in our parking lot. So they built a wall, but they had to build it 12, 14 walkable. Access for the fire department, for if there was windows back there, if they needed to access an apartment, there needed to be some kind of access. It's very heartbreaking that he laid there, and with all the people helping, they're looking for a walking, talking 2-year-old. But when you get a feel or a vibe of a situation, you think both ways. And I feel that there was a broken system with Las Vegas, interim of the CSI and search grid area, and then asking for public's help when they're, passing out flyers and all of the things. That was helpful and fine, but you're still looking, people are in their head are still looking for a walking, talking 2-year-old. You have to think criminal-like. What would I do if I hurt him? Where would I take? And then you find out they had no car. So did he take an Uber? Did he tell the Uber driver, oh, he's just not feeling well, I'll hold him? I work for Uber. I never put a kid in my car without a seat. I have car seats in my car that I flip out and I'll put him in a seat. Being so there's all kinds of stuff on the internet that she texted and said, oh, we're not going to search there. So what did she get told? Did she go see him? Did she acknowledge that he was there? Because she didn't look like she gave two craps yesterday. She didn't look like she had a People roll up to a crime scene that's a family member that legit is broken from the second they say, here's his ID, is this him? That's who's in there. And they lose it. Reaction number one, shock over calm. And you guys, wonder if that kid was gone on Friday before she left. Another one that just accidentally calls the cops. Oops, I called them. You're a dickhead. Oops. And then, okay, I'm going to transfer this over to Cal City. They're around here somewhere. They're in this area. You're not looking for talking, walking 3 and 4 year olds. You're looking for deceased 3 and 4 year olds. Where they had a van. Where'd they take them? What's their receipt pattern look like? Don't talk cameras, talk receipts. Talk your McDonald's, your Jack in the Box, your Walmart. Connect the dots. Makes you wonder. That's me being a CSI retired agent that was blown away yesterday by the area in which they found that little boy. Sad. So there's my doling down the day of Amari Nicholson and the CSIs and the searchers and the people that were looking for a walking, talking 2-year-old, and how long. I mean, they'll give us a tentative day of death, hopefully, or a reason of death, hopefully, here the next day. And then obviously he's down, he's dead, and I hate to say this, and y'all are gonna probably hate me, but I've watched enough CSI Las Vegas in my life that bugs, decaying of a human, what maggots, flies, ants, the decaying process of a decaying child or a person or a part of a person, what part of the decay. If they can't determine what day and time because those organs are non-reactive anymore because he's been out there in days, but they do the decay composition of what bugs and mucus and body fluids that can determine time of death. 4 days ago, XYZ, 5 days ago, XYZ, 10 days, 8 days ago, 9 days ago, because of the decaying process. And that's sad and it's sickening. And there would probably been an odor, and there'd probably been aroma, or there probably could have been birds camping. I mean, I go to McDonald's and there's little blackbirds all the time and they want French fries. There could have been birds in the area that people don't know to look for because they prey on animals and meat, and that's sad and it's disgusting, but it's true. And that sounds creepy weepy and all of the things, but it is real time, real life. It's not pretty in a box in a 45-minute show. It's complicated and complex how to determine after so many days of being in the elements how they died, when they died, decomposition, body fluids. All bodies swell after so many days. They start puffing up because they're going to pop with fluid because they haven't been debombed. Like when you die and you want to have an open canvas, they go, you want to be debombed? You want to pay for debombing so you can view without an odor and da-da-da. Well, he's going to probably be cremated. So because of his decomposition, they can't do all of the things. So they're going to have to take all the tissues and all of the... It's going to be very complicated and it's going to be very sad. And maybe some people don't have the stomach to tolerate that kind of language. And that's just the lay of the land. They probably, they picked it. They didn't just scoop them up and put them on a gurney. If you've ever been or have never experienced doing morgue shadowing or crime shadowing, you can do it if you have a clear background and you dream to be in that field. I would surely, with all my faith in what encourages you to be there in a crime scene, is to shadow. And when you see how they conduct in a professional manner, it's not like they just went up there and put him in a bag and threw him on a gurney and threw him in a van and drove him down the street. No, they went with kit gloves, took evidence, did the things, put him on a sheet, moved him, put him on another sheet. Very organized, very polite, very respectful. It's not just they just went in there and took him and picked him up, and it is what they didn't. That's not how that goes. It's very technical. It's very tedious. It's very done right. They're trying to not do more damage that's already been done. We don't know if he had many broken bones, a crushed skull, any of that. We don't know any of that. So you have to be very thorough, respectful, and the movements are slow. That's why if you've ever been on or near somebody that a mortuary comes, or all of the things, they are very respectful people. The coroners are also very respectful. The person's already deceased. We don't want anybody to say that they were rough or didn't care or malice in nature, because they're trying to conduct it in a professional. They're very professional, and it's very tedious work, especially when you're working with a crime. You have to work with the crime lab. Then they'd okay, the coroner can come in. We got all the things from around, but as soon as you move the body up and out of our way, we got to do more. We got to get more stuff, gravel, whatever, dirt, samples of the soil, whatever. And then they put him on a on a sheet, wrap him up. They tag his toe or his finger, whatever the case may be. Cover him up, very respectful. Then they move him again into a bag thing, and they put the bag onto the gurney, and then they move him, and then they do more CSI stuff, and then they clear the scene and they go. It's very respectful, and I hope everybody saw that yesterday. I did. That they didn't rush through the procedures, and they did a very methodical execution of retrieving and getting him out of there. It wasn't like they just carried him out in your hands. It's done very precise protocol, procedures, and all the things. I heard that on a search recording the other day. Was it yesterday, before yesterday? Is that procedure? Is that procedure? Is that procedure? Like, they were they wouldn't want to mess up anything that may be part of this situation. They were very loud about it. They were like, is this procedure? Is this what we should do? Is this what we were able to do? They don't want to ruin nothing that can potentially damage this case. And that's just my adult growing up, been there, done the field work, many, many, many years, 20 years plus. It doesn't look like it, but I went right out of high school. I wanted to be a criminologist. I wanted to know what is preventable in life, how people get in this position that determines your outcome, car accident, shot themselves, all the things, overdoses, criminal stuff, dumping of bodies, all of the things. I wanted to be a part of that forum. I wanted to be a part of it for a very long time. I became a nurse first, and I didn't want to see anybody get hurt I wanted to see what we could have done to prevent this outcome. You can't prevent, like, the people that come in with a heart attack or the M80 off their fingers or any of that, but you do your own intervention and or conversation or how this happened, and you submit it on a piece of paper and say, this is what he said, this is what happened. And after that, after I was done with my nursing career, I wanted to be a part of a department and in that forum. So I shadowed a morgue, I shadowed a CSI, I did more schooling at 27, and I worked as a nurse and a CSI agent in criminal law. And it's yesterday was depressing. It was depressing. But the things that, a dumping of a body or any of that, or that you've been told, hey, this person could be anywhere, and they're going to send search teams out and all of the things, and you get the call, they found it. Now you're trying to figure out how long they've been there. It's just a procedure, and it's a procedure that weighs on you. But I had a really, I think I'm Pitbull. I was told a long time ago that you have an instinct. Like last Friday, when my friends, who I used to work for, said, when they said this is a crime scene yesterday, we can't find a knife. And I went, what? What do you mean you can't find a knife? And I put gloves on, had his phone number, still have it. And I looked. I just went, what do I got to lose? So I did and when I found this knife, along with a pair of boots, so the ID and a Volvo key, I called him. He's like, what do you mean you found the key? You found the knife. I found it. Come get it. Might not be the one you want, but he got there and he's like, and I tagged it. I got a piece of paper out of my car and I slit the top of the bush and I put my paper in it. And he went over there with his bag, piece of paper that I touched, spread the bush, got his gloves, put it in the bag. I signed it, and he signed it, and he took it. But that's a search. It's in this area somewhere, Kelly. It's right here somewhere. But I had an instinct very, very early about, is this important? I asked all the stupid questions. I won't lie. I asked all the stupid questions. I asked them all the time. I asked them all the time. Is this important? Do you think this should be bagged? If it ain't, if it's right here, it's nearby, put it. If it's here, like if it's blood splatter or something, put it in the bag. 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 All right. But praise the coroner and the team that actually removed Amari Nicholson yesterday. My bad thoughts are why did he lay there so long? And if they can determine if they moved him, moved him from one area to another area. That's disrupting a corpse, so that could be a charge. That's my feelings on the things. Like, if I wouldn't have had nothing to do this week, because I heard about this Saturday, I'd have been out there. I might have even paid for an $88 room. Just because I used to be really good at what I do, and I've been on probably 15 searches looking for a dead person, and out of 15 there was 4 that you just don't not remember. That was just gruesome, and days have gone by, and hearing a seasoned cop say, look at the sky, look for birds. That will never, ever get out of my head. Ever. Look in the sky, look at the ground, look at this, like, how far are those birds off the ground? They're eating something somewhere. Let's go find it. It could have been a dead horse, it could have been a dead donkey, could have been a snake, it could have been anything. And then you roll up on a dead body, and you're like, and all these birds are on top of it, and you're like, this is not a good outcome. And then you have to, like, bag that. It's just not a good thing. But this, knowing what I know in this training body, the recognition of stuff is, it just brings back all those guts that you like put to sleep. You thought you put to sleep, but you don't. So yeah, making me cry. You're welcome. You just don't forget those things. You just don't. So, hope they don't say he was moved from, because your blood goes a certain way. And if you've been moved and it's already a clotted process, like let's say he was laid down on his back, all the blood would run to the back. Kind of like when you sprain an ankle, your blood runs to the bottom of your foot. Same thing with a dead body. If you lay them flat or you curl them up, all the blood will run to one side or the other, and then, yeah. But we will see, we will determine, we will follow, we will keep on it. Have a great Thursday. Bye.